Hello everyone, and welcome. I wanted to make this little video, which is an overview of what is in the expansion for Diablo 3. The expansion is Reaper of Souls, and I have been invited to the beta, so I wanted to show you guys what all of the little things that are added in the beta, in the expansion. I've cut it up into 3 parts: a story, loot, and systems. So if you want, you can click on whichever one you're most interested in, or just watch the entire video. That works too. I'll try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but that is not guaranteed. So let's start with the story. You have a new act in this expansion, Act 5, where we will follow Malthael, the Angel of Death, previously the Angel of Wisdom, to Westmarch, which is, I believe, it's like a province. But there's also a city there called Westmarch, which is the capital. And we follow him there to stop him. He's got the Black Soulstone and he's doing some stuff. And he's kind of killing everybody, so we're there to investigate what he's up to and to stop him and his minions, the Reapers. And we'll be going through various little zones. The city of Westmarch itself, ancient Nephilim ruins, the Blood Swamps, the Eternal Battlegrounds, and finally, the Pandemonium Fortress in Pandemonium. And that's pretty much the summary of the story, very quickly. Like I said, I wanted to try and keep it spoiler-free as possible, so you'll have to find out who the bosses are and what their stories are and that sort of stuff yourselves. And there is plenty of lore to be discovered through journals and that sort of stuff, which I found very exciting and very fun. You'll also be seeing the continuation of the story of the followers, and their story also, it continues into specific dungeons for each of them, and their revelation of secrets and sort of stories. So for the sources, she's trying to find her sisters and the Prophet and that sort of thing. The Templar is trying to get back to his order and see that maybe it's been corrupted somehow. And Lyndon, the thief, the scoundrel, he's back in Westmarch because his brother, I believe, and the Thieves Guild are also in Westport, which is another city, so you do get involved in that a little bit. Alright, let's move on to the loot. This is a pretty interesting part. They've made quite a lot of changes to the loot. So let's start off with looking at the new loot system, which is called Loot 2.0. It will basically be dropping gear that is specifically for you. So for example, I've been playing a Crusader, which is a Strength Vitality character. And so primarily every time I kill monsters that drop loot, I will get gear that has Strength and Vitality on it, and other stats that are useful for me, like armor and other stats like cooldown reduction, that sort of stuff. It is possible to get gear that drops different stats like intelligence and dexterity, but it is much rarer if you're playing a strength character like I was right here. So my barbarian is strength, and these 2 pieces of gear, dexterity and intelligence, I got in this session that I just played, and I played for about an hour and a half. I got maybe 200-300 pieces of strength gear. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but I got quite a lot of strength gear. Stuff with stats that is useful for me, and very rarely items with stats that are not useful for me, like dex and intelligence. So if you play a witch doctor, you'll get intelligence gear, and if you play like a monk, you'll get dexterity gear primarily, which can be kind of tricky actually if you want to gear up your followers. For example, I'm using the Enchantress follower, and she uses intellect items, and it's actually very difficult for me to get intellect items on my Crusader. This system also gets transferred to the crafting system, where now you don't have to craft like 30 items to get something good. You can just craft one thing, and it's usually pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't roll well, so you just have to remake it a couple of times. So I can show you here. I'm trying to figure out a piece that I want. So here. So my boots right now, they're only level 66. I want some level 70 boots. So here I'll go into the crafting system. I'll look for these level 70 boots. It tells you how many properties you'll have. It'll show you the mats as well, which costs gold as well. That's what gold is used for now in the expansion, because there's no auction house. So you'll use gold for crafting. You'll use gold for upgrading the blacksmith, the jewel crafter, and the new the new artisan here, Miriam. She is an enchanter and transmogrifier, a mystic, I believe her title is. Yes. So you'll use that for crafting and repairs as well. Is what you'll use gold for. And the crafting can actually get pretty expensive if you look at these gems over here. For example, the highest level gem I can craft right now costs 400,000 gold. I only have 600,000 gold at the moment. So it's quite a fortune. But I believe that at higher difficulties, I've heard that certain gems will drop. So I believe Imperial Diamonds will drop in the highest difficulty. So it's actually not that bad. So yes, I was going to show you the crafting. So I wanted some boots, for example. So I'll take these boots and I'll craft them. So now we can take a look at what they've rolled. 410 strength, 369 vitality, 10% movement speed, and it also increases my blessed hammer damage by 15%. That's actually a pretty good item for me because I'm actually using blessed hammer. So I might actually wear those. As you can see in the tooltip also, they kind of simplified it where it'll show you what kind of stat changes it'll happen. They also simplified this stat system here, so they simplified it where it'll show you your damage output, which is a combination of your weapons, your attributes, attack speed, critical strike, critical hit chance, passive skills, dual wielding, attack speed, and stuff like that. Same thing for toughness, which is somewhat of a new stat. They kind of rolled a bunch of things together, and so it's a calculation of how much damage you can sort of take based on like your armor, max life, dodge chance, average resistance, missile melee, and elite damage reductions, which can also appear on items. So yes, each item has armor, some have vitality, resist all elements, that sort of stuff. And that all gets calculated into the toughness stat. And you also have a healing stat, which is like life on hit, life per second, life steal, and that sort of stuff. So if I put on these boots, it'll tell me, oh, you do 9% more damage, but you lose a few percent of toughness and healing. But I might actually just do that. Speaking of crafting, there is actually some new mats, new crafting mats, that will appear once you reach level 61, I believe. Just a whole new tier of mats that pretty much make your old mat materials obsolete. They've condensed a lot of the materials from the classic game, because in the classic game you had materials for every single difficulty level. So yes, you had crafting mats for normal, you had crafting mats for Inferno, and all of the other difficulties in between, but now they combine them all together into one. So these crafting mats that you had before, these will only apply from level 1 to 60 for crafting items. There's new ones that drop once you reach level 61 and above, and these are for crafting level 61 and above items. They're pretty much equivalent to what you'll find in terms of what you'll use. The interesting part is that now grays, whoa, I put that in my inventory, I didn't mean to do that. Grays and whites are useful. So you'll pick up grays and whites and you'll salvage them into these salvage parts that you need for crafting. So reusable parts are from getting, from salvaging level 61 and above whites and grays. Same thing goes for blues. That'll give you a specific crafting mat for blues. Yellows, which are rares, if you salvage them, it'll give you another specific mat. And then there's one more specific mat material that drops only from elite and rare monsters. And then there's also legendary crafting materials, like the fire brimstone. And then these ones are pretty specific. They're used for crafting a very specific legendary. So here it's for the item called the Sunder, and this is for Griswold's Perfection. But I don't believe I have the... what is it called?
Don't be shy.
The pattern for it, the recipe. Now the interesting thing about the crafting is that for the higher items like this one, you'll actually need like a white item to craft with it, and then a specific legendary like I showed you. Now with the new loot system, they've also changed how gear scaling works. So pretty much all of your gear that you've gotten in classic Diablo 3 at level 60 is kind of useless, because if you look at here, this is my barbarian, my level 60 barbarian that I have in classic. It's not really that well geared, but what I want to show is the stats. So here at level 60 on my barbarian, I have 1,000 strength, and then if I look at my level 70 crusader, I have 4,300 strength, and just like a ridiculous amount of damage, maybe 10 or 12 times as much. Same goes for the toughness and healing stats. Because of the new loot system that drops specific gear for your character, you'll get very good gear very quickly. And so what happens is that around level 40 on my Crusader, my gear was pretty much on par to my level 60 Barbarian in terms of stats. It was pretty crazy. So yes, all of your gear will become obsolete come the expansion, but you'll get some pretty ridiculous stuff like this polearm, and the stats on it are pretty inflated, and they get pretty inflated very quickly. I don't have the best gear on my Crusader, but I've seen people with like 2 million damage stats and like 27 million toughness. Just the scaling gets pretty out of hand pretty quickly, but this is the beta, so things could always change. There is also a new artisan, which I wanted to mention briefly. I did earlier in this video. The artisans are like the blacksmith, and the jewel crafter. The new one is the mystic, which allows you to do two things: enchanting and transmogrifying. Enchanting is to change the stats on an item. So for example, let me go and grab a helmet that I would like to use right now. This opens up a lot of opportunities for advancement in character, where before you would get an item like this helmet, and it wouldn't be an upgrade for me because I don't like the Fist of the Heavens buff, because I'm not using Fist of the Heavens. Actually I am, but no, I'm not. Never mind. That's not the point. Let's say I want to use this helmet. So I'll put it in the enchanting window, and I don't want it to have Fist of the Heavens damage. I want to reroll that stat. So you put an item in and you choose the stat you want to reroll. You'll need some crafting mats for this and some money, which it can get pretty expensive. So we click replace. It'll bind to your account when you enchant it, which means you can't trade it. So we'll click OK, and it'll give us a choice of two different things we can change to. If we don't like either, we can keep the one we've had before. So here it gives me a choice between increased shield bash damage or increased blessed hammer damage. I'm actually using blessed hammer, so I'll just select that. If you don't like what you got rerolled to, you can reroll it again. So I might just do that just to see what it comes up with. And it just gives me the same sort of stats again. So I'm just going to keep blessed hammer this time. So I'm not going to waste any more money in that. Every time you re-roll an item, if it's the same item, it becomes more and more expensive, so be careful with that. Now the transmogrifying is pretty much changing the look of your item. And every time you upgrade the Mystic, I have it at max level, so I have all tiers available. But pretty much every time you upgrade, you get a new tier of looks unlocked, because there's different tiers in the game, tiers of armor. And once you reach max Mystic level, you've unlocked all the visual tiers. In Classic, there's all of these except these last two, which are added in the expansion. So I don't like that helmet look, so I'll use this one, which is a nice like hooded mask thing, which looks quite nice. So I'll click Transmogrify, and now it's changed the look of my helmet. So if I take a look, I believe that's the zoom button. There we go. Now I have my hooded helmet. You can do the same thing for weapons. However, weapons are far more expensive to change. So they get progressively more and more expensive the higher level tier they are. And if it's a legendary, I don't have an example here. Let me see if I can grab. I believe I have a one-handed weapon in here somewhere that I can use. So yes, here. Here's a one-handed mace that I have. And let's say I want to transmogrify it into a legendary. The legendaries, if you want to transmogrify into a legendary, it will cost 500,000 gold, so it can get pretty expensive very quickly. So I'll transmogrify again, like let's say these shoulders. Let's see what kind of options we have. So here, same thing, I have some legendary shoulders that I discovered, and they're 500,000 gold if I want to transmogrify into it. So I like those shoulders a lot because they've got like moving parts and they look quite nice, so I'll transmogrify. It's quite cheap, the transmogrification, as you can see, except if you're trying to get into a legendary. Now, the way you unlock how legendaries look, you have to find them yourself, and then it unlocks, as you can see. Now, speaking of legendaries, the new legendaries have some very interesting statistics. So let me just grab the ones that I found myself. This one doesn't for some reason, and same as this one. I guess that's just placeholder, maybe they'll change. But for the most part, most legendaries that I have found have had a special attribute, this orange text at the bottom. So for example, I have this necklace, which when hitting an enemy within 15 yards, a chance towards with shards of arcane energy that explode when enemies are close by, dealing 288 weapon damage as arcane to enemies within 15 yards. It makes these little like orbs float around me, these little arcane orbs. I've also found this shield, which when you block, you have 19% chance to stun an attacker for 1.5 seconds based on your current wrath. So wrath is the Crusader resource, and so it's a Crusader specific shield, as you can see. And then I've also found this flail, which is also a Crusader specific legendary. Oh, this one used to have orange text, and I guess they removed it. It used to split my smite into more strands. I guess it doesn't do that anymore. That's interesting. There was a new patch which changed quite a lot of things. And then recently I got this bovine, bardish, or whatever, as you will see later in the video. And this one is quite fun. Chance on hit to summon a herd of murderous cows, which you will see later in the video. It's quite fun. And one last thing about the legendaries is that you can find legendaries at any level now. It doesn't matter what, where, or what it is. And it will be appropriate to your level. So for example, I found this necklace at level 33. So it's level 33. And same thing goes for the shield, level 45, and this flog, level 54. I also found this sword at level 44, and this dagger at level 70. And then this polearm at level 70 as well. I forgot to show you this this necklace as well, which I got at level 62. It used to, oh, they changed the effect. It used to increase your health regeneration up to 100% based on your current life percentage. They changed that. Prevents all arcane damage taken and heal yourself for 24% of the amount prevented. Oh, that actually prevents the little arcane enchanted mobs that put the arcane beams on the ground. That's actually quite nice. That's much better than previous enchantment. So yes, they changed a bunch of enchantments on the legendaries, so good thing I held off on making this video, and it'll probably change again. Like I said, it's beta, it fluctuates quite a lot. So that's the new loot system. Now we're going to get into systems of the expansion. They changed the Paragon system. So now it doesn't increase your magic and gold fine, I don't believe, anymore. Instead, you get points which you can assign in different stats, and you can reset this. You can reset your points at any time. So I'm going to do that right now just to show you what you can do. So right now on my character, I am level 8 Paragon level. You gain Paragon levels after you reach max level, which is level 70. And every time you gain a Paragon level, the experience needed, I think, increases by 1 million each time. So each time you level, you get 1 point in core, then the next time you level, you get a point in offense, then the next time you level, you get a point in defense, then the next time you level, you get a point in utility, and it loops back around. There is, I believe, no max level to Paragon levels. You can just keep getting points until you've maxed out every single part of your Paragon. This extends to all of your characters on that difficulty. So on soft core, everyone gets the same Paragon level. So I have other characters which are going to be level Paragon level 8 as well. And on hardcore, I don't have any Paragon levels, so all my hardcore characters are going to be level 0 Paragon, unless I level my Paragon level up, and then they'll gain things. So each one has different things in it. So in core, you have your primary stats. So this will be different for each character, but because I'm using a strength character, the primary stat is going to be strength. And you get vitality, movement speed, and then probably your maximum resource on other characters. Right now, I'm on a Crusader, so it is Wrath. For offense, you get attack speed, cooldown reduction, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage. Defense is life, armor, resist all, life regeneration. Utility will be area damage, resource cost reduction, life on hit, and gold fine. Some of these might be a little bit different on each character. Like I said, the primary resource and the primary stat. So here I'll put some points into strength, And in offense, I'll put some points into attack speed. Defense, I'll put some points in resist all and some life regeneration, because I like life regeneration. And so as you can see, it's a pretty small amount each time, but it adds up because it goes up to 50. See some of these have a maximum. You can put a maximum of 50 points in. I believe for strength and vitality there is no max, as you can see. So you can just keep leveling forever. And then for utility, I'll put some points into resource cost reduction. The interesting part is that they have gold find here. And they've actually kind of removed, they've tried to remove magic find gear from the game. So you'll only get magic find from the difficulties and some shrines as well. But for the most part, extra magic find is removed from gear. You still find gold find on gear like this. On these gloves, you'll see secondary, it says 26% extra gold find from monsters. But like I said, you only get magic find from the difficulties. So let's take a look at the new difficulty system now. So they've pretty much removed the difficulty system from the game, the classic one that you've seen, which goes from, I think, easy to inferno. I don't remember myself that much. But this is the new difficulty system. You unlock master at level 60, and you unlock torment once you reach level 70. But each difficulty system is, well, indeed progressively harder. The monsters have more health and so on. It gets pretty exponentially crazy with the numbers. But you get some benefits for playing on the harder difficulties if you can handle it. So on normal, this is the baseline experience, so you don't get any extra gold or any bonus experience. On hard, you'll get 75% extra gold and 75% XP bonus. Expert, 100% gold, 100% extra bonus. And the bounties will award double currency, so they give you twice as much blood shards and twice as much gold. For master, it's 200% extra gold bonus, 200% extra XP bonus. The bounties will award double currency, same as expert. And then there's one special thing about master, is it will drop imperial gems from level 61 and higher monsters. So if you've seen the loot portion of this video, you'll see that the imperial gems are quite expensive to craft and they're pretty high level. So that kind of alleviates that if they drop from monsters. And then the highest difficulty is Torment, 300% extra gold bonus, 300% extra XP bonus. You get the previous bonuses from Expert and Master, which is bounties or double currency. You get your Imperial Gems from level 61 and higher monsters. So these difficulties are kind of designed for level 61 and above. You also get new legendary items that only drop at level 70 in Torment difficulty. And then you get some additional gold XP and legendary drop rates. With this slider, there's actually a slider for Torment, which you can increase the Torment difficulty even more. So Torment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And you can see that the extra gold bonus and the extra XP bonus increase as I increase the slider up to like 1,600%. So you'll get quite a lot of loot if you are able to play on this difficulty, but it is, as I said, quite difficult. I haven't really managed to play. I've played on Expert. I think that's the highest level I've been successful at. Master gets kind of crazy. And it also has like a little description of like what your character should be in terms of its state. So like for Master it says, oh, you should have mastered your hero skills and have several pieces of legendary equipment, and so on and so forth, just to give you a little hint as to like when you should enter that difficulty. So that's the difficulty level. The interesting part is that they've also removed the strict monster levels, where before you would go into a zone and the monsters were a specific level. Now they level in terms of your level, so you can go to any difficulty, it doesn't matter, and the monsters will be that level, your level. So if I can go into any area, I'm level 70, the monsters will be level 70. Same thing goes if I'm level 36, I can go into any area, any difficulty, and the monsters will be level 36. I actually leveled my Crusader on Master difficulty from like level 1 to 50 or something, and then it started getting a bit hard on Master, so I dropped it down. So yes, you can go on any difficulty at any level, and the challenge will be appropriate. Now there's a new mode, a gameplay mode. Before you only had the campaign mode, so you would select a chapter and then select like which part of the chapter you wanted. So Act 1, that's like, oh, I want to go to Act 1 and go to the Shattered Crown quest and so on. Now there's a new mode called Adventure Mode, and I'll show you that real quick. So the new mode, adventure mode, allows you to go to any act, any map of any act. So it pretty much opens up the entire game, and every waypoint is opened with this new map. So you can see this is the world of Sanctuary, I believe it's called. And then you can choose which act you want to go to. Each of them have bounties, which is also a new part of adventure. So if I actually, it also shows you which one gives you a bonus, and bonus will give you more gold and more stuff, more experience, that sort of thing. So here, actually I'm gonna go to Act 1 just to show you that. And this is the new UI for the bounties, where you have every waypoint in that act, and then you'll see little quest markers over the waypoints that have a bounty. And it'll also show you on this little UI which ones are which. And once you complete all of them, you'll start getting, it'll start showing you on the UI, and then it'll tell you what the reward is for that bounty, for completing all of those bounties. Each bounty also can give you some rewards, and each bounty has a little bit of a different goal. So some of them will require you to like clear the Den of the Fallen, so you just kill everything in there. Some of you will have to kill a specific boss, so here it says go and kill the Butcher. Here also says kill Lozak the Prowler, which is just a rare mob. Actually, it's a bounty mob. So you just kill a bunch of stuff. It'll also give you like a kill counter, as you'll see in the next parts. And some of the bounties will also reward you with blood shards, which is a new currency, which is used in adventure mode. And there's a merchant here, which is the blood shard merchant, and she sells random weapons and armor and stuff. It's basically your gambling for Diablo 3. So for example, I have 30 shards. And let's see, what do I want to buy? What could I increase? So yeah, let's say some bracers. So I'm going to buy some bracers. I don't know what they're going to roll as, so let's see. These cost 5 blood shards. I have 30 blood shards right now, so I'm going to click. And I bought some bracers. Let's see what it is. It's not very good at all. So I'm just going to sell it back to her for... You can't actually sell it back to her. So let's buy some more bracers. Still not very good. More bracers.
Well, it's a good paperweight.
Wow, that's even... Yep, she called it a paperweight. That's correct. Apparently you can actually get some legendaries from these, but it is gambling, so test your luck. Let's buy some more bracers. Still not good. More bracers. That's not bad. Could use a bit of re-rolling. Lightning skills deal 11% more damage. That's actually pretty good for my Blessed Hammer, which is lightning. And with the bounties, you can also earn some Rift Keystone Fragments. You need 5 of them to open a Nephilim Rift, which is a randomly generated, well, it's not a randomly generated map. It's a map. It's one of these maps. It's going to choose a map. And it's going to be like a random weather, a random time of day, so that kind of keeps it fresh. And it's also going to have random monsters from different acts in that map, as I'll show you. So here in this rift that you can see in this video that I'm showing you, it's the plains. You see them in Act 1 when you go and fight the Khazra, the little goatman. It's right after the spider cave, and you have to go and get a staff in that plains. As you can see, it's actually nighttime right now in the plains, which is something I talked about briefly, which was that each map is an already existing map, but it has different parameters, so it can be night, different weather times, and that sort of stuff. And it also has a bunch of random monsters. So there you saw those were abominations from later in Act 1. And in this clip you see that there's angels. These are angels, I believe, from Act 5. We're going to see a few more mobs from Act 5, like the big dogs coming up. And we're also seeing some Act 4 monsters, like the Mallet Lords and some of the demons from the High Heavens, Act 4. So as I said, you'll get a bunch of random monsters and things like that in a different map. So it kind of mixes things up, because you'll be able to fight different combinations of monsters that you would normally not be able to, and it kind of changes things up and mixes things up. On the right side of the screen, right on the map, you should see a little meter, and this fills up as you kill monsters in the rift. Once you've killed enough monsters and the bar is filled up, it will summon the Rift Guardian, which is the boss of the Nephilim Rift. This can be a bit tricky though, because it can spawn at any time once the meter is full. So you can be killing a bunch of stuff and then suddenly it spawns and you have to deal with it while you're dealing with all of the other monsters that are in the level. And this happens in this clip. As you can see, the Guardian has spawned and it's fighting me while I'm fighting a bunch of other stuff as well. And of course, finally, the new thing that you've been seeing pretty much this entire video is the new class for Reaper of Souls, which is the Crusader, who's themed to be a holy warrior. He's a mid-class. Well, it can be a she as well. You can play a lady Crusader as well. They're a mid-class sort of spell physical damage person. It's pretty interesting because they have a lot of ranged attacks, except the range attacks have like a medium range, so they won't be as far as, like, let's say a spellcaster. You have to get a bit closer to your enemies. And as you can see, they wear heavy armor and like a shield. It's pretty nice. And with the advent of a new character, they've added a few more slots. So I believe that before you had 10 slots, and now you might actually have 14. Let's see. They added 2 more slots to the character list to accommodate for the new Crusader class. And that's it. That's pretty much the systems in the new expansion. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty fun. Like I said, though, it is beta, so a lot of the information I just said might have changed since I logged in today to make this video, and there was a patch, and it changed quite a lot of things. Like, it put new UI art in there. It changed, as you can see, some of the legendaries that I showed you. It changed like what they do. And they also changed the drop rate of items, so now it's actually a bit higher than usual. So it's actually a little bit more fun to get more items sooner. So yeah, that's Reaper of Souls. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the Crusader stuff, I'll make a video showing you the Crusader skills in detail. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Take care. Ooh, a new legendary drop. Let's see what it does. Chance on hit to summon a herd of murderous cows. Ho ho ho. Time to check this out. Yes, yes, forward, my ghastly bovine minions. Forward to victory. You must follow me into the fray of battle, where we must be unhindered by our enemies. Well done, my cows. It is time to collect our loot, as we have been victorious. Now that we have done so, let us get out of here. No! I want to reiterate at the end of this video that everything you've seen is in beta, so everything is always subject to change, as I saw the patch notes for the next patches, and they're changing quite a lot of things already that were in this video, so that's why I was kind of weary about making it, but it's just to give you a general idea of what are the systems in the new expansions, what are the things they're changing, and that sort of stuff. And they're constantly working on changing parameters where, like, how fast loot drops, what kind of loot, that sort of stuff, just to make it more fun. And from what I've seen, it's been getting better and better, so there's a good future for Diablo, I believe.